Commander Vix clutched the observation deck railing, his four eyes widening in horror. Human children, not soldiers, not adults, but children, were attacking each other with blunt metal objects. Their primitive combat arena was surrounded by cheering adults as the small humans collided with sickening thuds. What barbarism is this? First Officer Meal whispered, mandibles clicking in distress. They call it hockey practice. Intelligence Officer Trell replied, consulting her datapad. It appears to be recreational. The Galactic Alliance reconnaissance vessel had been observing Earth for 3 standard cycles now. Classified as a Class 5 death world, Earth had produced a species that not only survived but thrived under crushing gravity, deadly atmospheric pressure, and extreme temperature variations. The humans had recently achieved faster-than-light travel, prompting this covert mission to assess their potential threat level. So far, that assessment was terrifying. Look there, Vix pointed at a different monitoring screen. Those juveniles are being forced to climb vertical rock faces without proper safety equipment. And these ones, Meal added, they're being dropped into water and expected to propel themselves before drowning. Trell's exoskeleton paled. They call that swimming lessons. They start when humans are barely out of infancy. The 3 aliens fell silent as they flipped through more observation feeds from around the planet. Children racing wheeled devices at breakneck speeds, launching themselves into the air on boards, deliberately falling down snow-covered mountains, and striking each other in ritualized combat training that humans called sports. How do they survive childhood? Vix finally asked. That's the point, came a voice from behind. The aliens spun around to face Captain Wars, the most decorated warrior in the Alliance fleet. His battle scars glinted under the ship's lights. These humans, Ors continued, they don't shelter their young from their death world. They train them to conquer it. Meanwhile, on Earth, 12-year-old Tom pushed himself up from the muddy ground, wiping blood from his nose. The obstacle course loomed ahead. Walls to climb, ropes to swing across, barbed wire to crawl under. Come on, you can do it, his coach Mark shouted. 5 more minutes, then we break for lunch. Tom nodded and rejoined his teammates in the junior Spartan race. He was tired, scratched, and bruised, but a fierce grin spread across his face as he attacked the next obstacle. Across town, 8-year-old Lily dove into the deep end of the pool, the water closing over her head. With powerful strokes, she surfaced and continued her lap, focusing on the breathing technique her instructor had taught her. On a mountain trail, 14-year-old Jack adjusted his backpack containing 20 pounds of camping gear as he led his scout troop up the steep incline. They'd be making camp themselves tonight, cooking over fires they would build with their own hands. None of these children knew they were being observed. None knew that across the galaxy, alien species evolved on gentle worlds with minimal gravity, predictable weather, and few predators. None knew that what they considered normal childhood activities would be viewed as brutal survival training by most galactic civilizations. Their history explains much. Intelligence Officer Trell briefed the captain and senior staff. Their species nearly went extinct multiple times. Ice ages, predators, starvation, disease, their evolution was forged in unrelenting crisis. The briefing room was silent as the officers considered this information. And now? Captain Ors asked. Now they deliberately expose themselves to simulated danger, Trell continued. They call it entertainment or sports. Their juveniles play games that mimic ancient survival scenarios, running, hiding, throwing projectiles, building shelters. Then, as adults, they voluntarily jump from high places, dive into ocean depths, climb mountains, and explore caves for pleasure. Commander Vix shuddered. Their military must be formidable. That's the problem, Trell said, pulling up new data. We can't identify their military training because it's barely distinguishable from their childhood activities. Their actual soldiers train only marginally harder than their civilians. Recommendation, Ors asked. Immediate diplomatic contact, Vix said without hesitation. We cannot risk hostilities with a species that considers our most grueling military training to be children's play. 2 months later, Tom sat in his history class, barely paying attention until his teacher switched to current events. As you know, Ms. Parker said, Last month marked humanity's first official contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. The Galactic Alliance has offered Earth membership and technological exchange. She pulled up an image of the alien delegation. What's interesting is their unusual request to observe our youth education and recreation programs. They seem particularly interested in our sports and outdoor activities. Why would aliens care about football practice? Someone asked. Ms. Parker smiled. Apparently, what we consider normal childhood activities are viewed as extreme survival training in their cultures. They're amazed by human children's resilience. The class erupted in laughter. No, I'm serious, she continued. The ambassador specifically mentioned being impressed by something called the Junior Spartan Race and requested to observe several sporting events. Tom straightened in his chair, suddenly interested. They've also offered to host a cultural exchange program where human students would visit their worlds. Later that day, Tom told his parents he wanted to apply for the exchange program. I don't know, his father said. It might be dangerous. Tom grinned. Dad, they're scared of hockey practice. How dangerous could their planets be? On the Alliance vessel, Captain Wars reviewed the initial diplomatic reports. The humans have agreed to Alliance membership talks, he noted with relief. There's more, Commander Vix added. They're amused by our interest in their training methods. They don't see themselves as particularly tough. Ors stared at the images of human children playing in environments that would kill most species in the galaxy. Then may the ancients help us all if they ever do. Trell looked up from her datapad. Sir, the first human delegation is prepared to visit the Alliance homeworlds. They're sending a group of what they call teenagers as a gesture of goodwill. The captain's expression shifted to alarm. They're adolescent death world survivors? Here? Yes, Trell confirmed. They're calling it a field trip. The three aliens shared a look of profound concern. The galaxy would never be the same again.